On a chilly winter evening, Ralph came upon a cat at his doorstep, pleading for shelter. Unsure of where this encounter would lead, he soon realized the feline had an extraordinary surprise for him. During a break in his favorite television show, Ralph rose to prepare a cup of hot cocoa. His surprise was considerable when he discovered a visitor on his porch. The biting cold pierced through the air. A winter's gust blew outside, and the weather forecast anticipated the impending snowy dawn. Passing by the front door, a silent meow and a feline face pressed against the glass caught his attention. Upon noticing him, the cat lifted a furry white paw in greeting, tapping on the glass as if to say, "Hello, may I come in, please?" Approaching the door, the cat swiftly got up. The act of opening the door gave the impression it had been fated to occur, like there was no possibility Ralph could resist the beseeching appeal. In the face of such determination, Ralph felt an irresistible urge to concede, and as he unbolted the door, the feline zipped in through the crack. An icy breeze followed in her wake, evoking solitary feelings for her plight. Just how long had she been out there? After she entered, he promptly closed the door. The feline was quite dry, apart from some chunks of frost caught in her fur. Shaking herself off left a few frost droplets on the carpet. Closer examination revealed her illustrious beauty. Fluffy white stripes with a grand flourish of fluffiness on her tail. She also appeared well-nourished, with a rotund belly indicative of a cat that should not be roaming the streets on such a frosty winter's night. Ralph journeyed to the kitchen to prepare hot cocoa and warmed a dish of milk for his house guest. He served it in a small dish and presented it to her in the hallway. After a few initial reluctant sniffs, she began to lap it up. Upon finishing her meal, she started trailing him to the kitchen, occasionally pausing to inspect her new surroundings. Ralph fondly stroked her soft fur, to which she reciprocated with a resonating purr, rubbing against his leg. Her actions were clear. She was setting the foundations of friendship. "Don't fret about the weather," comforted Ralph. "You can stay here tonight or as long as you'd like." Upon speaking these words, he knew they were heartfelt. Ralph was fully prepared to provide refuge for this cat, whether it be for only a couple of days or even several weeks. For the first time, he was spending time with a pet that wasn't owned by a friend or family member. He adored dogs during his childhood and eagerly yearned for a puppy to call his own on his birthday. However, residing in a high-rise apartment made this impossible, so he compensated by spending time with his friends' dogs. After fulfilling his military service, his initial civilian job necessitated extensive travel. He relished visiting intriguing places and experiencing environmental change. Yet this obstructed his desire to rush to an animal shelter to get the pet he always yearned for. Therefore, he decided to switch jobs, finally settle and own a place. The major part of the year was used up sorting out the basics, and finding a place he could call home wasn't an easy feat. Thus, in some ways, he envied the cat. After the cat drank her milk, Ralph offered her a plate of remaining chicken, but she appeared uninterested and barely ate. Subsequently, he went back to watch his sports game. Even though his attention was primarily consumed by the game, forgetting about his hot cocoa, he noticed the cat poking her head into the living room. She greeted him with a merry meow and stared at the grand television screen in shock. Ralph lowered the sound, hoping she would stay, but the football match excitement seemed too distracting for her as she didn't linger for more than a moment. After a couple of minutes, he heard the sad mew of the cat in the hallway and decided to leave his game to see how his new creature was doing. The cat took the liberty to explore all the rooms in detail. She seemed to take a liking to the bedrooms, spending some time stretching out on Ralph's bed. She also hopped on a few chairs by the windowsill, taking a keen interest in the falling snowflakes. In the guest room, she delivered another sad mew standing before the wardrobe doors. Ralph unlatched them, and the cat confidently walked inside. Soon enough, she claimed a folded blanket from the lower shelf. Her content purring resonated within the wooden walls. Ralph observed her antics and found them amusing. He had some familiarity with the behaviors of cats, but this one quickly made herself comfortable. The feeling of unusual pride overtook him, knowing she felt secure in his abode. He deduced that the minor scratches she might make on the blanket were a small price to pay for the company. Ralph's guest room became the cat's territory for the entirety of the evening. She showed a peaceful and amiable demeanor towards her new human, purring fondly each time she spotted him. She lost her appetite, but she still sipped from the water Ralph offered her. Feeling unsure, Ralph went to sleep that night. On waking up, he began a mission to determine if any of his neighbors were missing a feline friend. He snapped 2 photos of the cat and showed them to people around him, but no one recognized her. Ralph scanned local message boards for missing felines, but the descriptions didn't match his newfound friend. He posted inquiries on community groups and online platforms to no avail. People suggested handing the cat over to an animal shelter, but Ralph simply couldn't muster the courage to send her off. It was evident that she had put her trust in him since their first encounter. Accepting that the cat would stay another night, Ralph went to gather necessities. He purchased a litter box, some food, and a large cat bed. The cat refrained from eating, but she showed an affinity toward her new bed. When Ralph retrieved a familiar blanket from the closet, it was as though it fit perfectly into place. Her refusal to eat troubled him. Adding to that, she felt unusually cool to the touch. He pondered whether she had caught a bug while wandering outdoors. To provide her comfort, he added an extra blanket and a heating mattress to her bed. She positively anticipated bedtime, yet some unease persisted. Ralph frequently checked on her, receiving loud purrs each time. He reasoned that if she were genuinely uncomfortable, she would have scratched him or shown other signs of displeasure. He decided not to press her to eat. She needed time, he felt. As dusk approached, the snowstorm worsened. Ralph made sure the room was snug and warm before he turned in for the night. To his astonishment, he woke up to the muted harmony of tiny mews. His new friend was now a mother. In her soft new bed, she had given birth to 3 charming kittens. It dawned on him then that her seeming overweight was a sign of pregnancy, which probably meant she was lost. Nonetheless, she displayed a sense of pride that was heartwarming, and Ralph's heart swelled with affection for all of them. A few days later, he tucked the newborn family into a transporter and brought them to the closest vet clinic. They were all given clean bills of health, and their first vaccinations were promptly scheduled. By this stage, the concept of parting ways with them had become unimaginable. When a month slipped by and no one asserted ownership over the mama cat or her kittens, he grasped that he had become their official guardian overnight. As they sprouted and initiated their playful interactions, Ralph procured bountiful toys for them. The mama cat evolved into his closest companion and sentinel. Being a diligent pet parent, he ensured she received her necessary medical care. Living amidst a quartet of felines that cherished him, Ralph felt his dwelling had ultimately morphed into the snug residence he had always yearned for. Have you ever permitted an unfamiliar cat or any other creature into your sanctuary out of empathy? Share your experiences in the comments below. If you savored this tale, you're certain to enjoy the subsequent video that pops up on your screen. Do remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, and activate notifications to ensure you don't miss our future uploads. With much affection, we'll see you in the forthcoming segment.